Hey everybody, Kevin Duffy here at Gillette Stadium, joined by Patriots beat columnist Karen Guregian. Week 12, Patriots are off their bye. Rob Gronkowski has not played, and it's going to be 27 days in between games if he suits up against the Jets, and he's expected to do so. So I think the question, what everyone's talking about this week, just going forward, are we eventually going to see Gronk as his usual self, the Gronkowski we're used to seeing? Because if we don't, after 27 days off, I just think this might be what he is at this point.
Well, that's the big mystery. Is he going to be 80% Gronk, which is kind of what he was before, or are we going to get the dominant Gronk that he's been throughout his career? There's no question the Gronk we saw before was having some issues in terms of separating from coverages. He didn't quite have his legs, and was that because of his back and ankle problems, or has he maybe hit that wall because of all the injuries he's had in his career? Some people think it is the latter, that he's maybe hit that wall. He's 28 years old, but again, he probably does not have a 28-year-old body by any stretch of the imagination, given all the surgeries he's had and the injuries he's had and the pounding that he's taken. I mean, he's not your everyday tight end. He's taken a lot of abuse over the course of his years.
The thing I would say about Gronk, a lot of the conversation about him has been people saying, oh, when you watch him, he just doesn't look the same. To me, even when Gronk was dominant, he was never a fluid runner. It's not like watching Josh Gordon or something. He was always kind of looked like he was laboring, but he was always open. He was always running past people, so clearly he was athletic enough to get open. And right now this season, he just, for whatever reason, you haven't seen him running free in the open field too much. So I think, a month off, he was probably close to playing against the Titans. They traveled him to that game, and he didn't suit up. So he's got to be pretty close to healthy at this point. So I think this is a telling game for him. He ripped up the Jets last year. He had over 100 yards and 2 touchdowns. Traditionally against division opponents, he's awesome. And so I think this is the time of year where if he doesn't start to take off, then it's just not going to happen, and that's fine. They have enough around him to be a good offense.
Right. Well, I think the concerning thing was the Bills game that he did play in, and he does, as you said, he usually rips apart the Jets. Well, he usually rips apart the Bills, and he didn't. So we'll see. And, defenses are going to watch him and take note. Do they have to double cover him? Or, can they get away with single covering him? Because whatever attention he draws is going to impact the Patriots offense going forward.
Yeah, I wonder if defenses in these next couple of weeks don't devote the usual attention they do to Gronkowski, because he hasn't been statistically successful this season. And if they don't do that and he gets a lot of single coverage throughout the game, if he gets single coverage in the red zone, he could go. I still wouldn't rule out 100 yards, 2 touchdowns for him this week. He's always capable of going off.
Right, and again, it's kind of that trial and testing period, and don't worry, Brady won't be afraid to go to him. I'm sure of it. Yeah,
I think especially if they have the game under control, I think you want to try to get players who are frustrated. Maybe Gronkowski, you could throw Chris Hogan into that discussion as well. Hogan has not caught a pass in his past 2 games. And Brady, I'm sure, is cognizant of that, and you want to try to get the ball to those guys and get everyone feeling good about themselves.
The Jets this week will be the perfect game for it.
You would think so. Also, on the injury front, Shaq Mason did not play in the past 2 games, suffered a calf injury against the Bills. Spoke to him in the locker room this week. Expectation is he's probably going to go the way he was talking. So Mason's return, I know the O-line's been pretty good without him. Ted Karras a competent backup, but Mason's their best offensive lineman, and I think that can make a big impact in the running game especially.
Yeah, he's definitely one of their best linemen for the running game. I think he'll help get Sony Michel going as well, and that's, again, I've said it a million times, to get their passing game going, their running game has to get going. That's why Shaq Mason is important.
All right, we'll wrap it up there. You can find all our coverage of Patriots Jets at bostonherald.com.